those same smokers are no longer available. Thank you, Peter. Keep them coming. 8, 10, 12 on the text. Let's talk to Grant Harold, who's a former Royal Butler and now an etiquette expert. Hello, Grant.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. How do you feel when you're out and about and you see people and smell people vaping?
Well, I mean, vaping, it sounds like something shouldn't be even done in public, the sound of it. And, I mean, at the weekend I was actually at a restaurant and some people next to me brought their e-cigarettes and they were obviously using them. And my feeling is, obviously, I think that when you're in that kind of situation, like with a cigarette, you wouldn't smoke in front of other people. Well, these days you certainly wouldn't if you're in a restaurant or hotel. And I kind of think that it should be the kind of same rules for these as well, because the reality is they still have nicotine, they've got chemicals that we don't quite know what's in them, and if you're a mother or a father or a parent and you've got your children or grandchildren, you probably don't want them sitting next to somebody that's actually using one.
It is a very interesting move, isn't it, Grant, by Public Health England, the fact that they're saying that vaping is going to be part of our campaign and this can very much help you quit smoking.
Well, do you know, I understand what they're saying, because I don't disagree that anything to get people off of cigarettes is a fantastic idea, and obviously these have been around for quite a while, but I think that where they're wrong is they're not actually kind of giving guidelines. They're so keen, obviously, encouraging people to give up smoking. They're not kind of thinking about the situations where people will use them, and instead of saying to people, please remember, as they contain these chemicals and nicotine and things, you'd still want to treat them the way you would with a cigarette. They're not kind of saying that, and that's where I think they've made a mistake. I think they should have actually been putting that in the kind of guidelines to treat them the same way you would with cigarettes.
Let's use you as your etiquette expert on the radio then, Grant, and ask you whether you think that I was saying to my guest a short time ago about the 13-year-old. He was about 13, 14. I saw him vaping outside a train station. He had all the cool trainers on. He had the tracksuit on as well, the smart haircut, and it struck me that this kid doesn't look like he's a smoker. This kid looks as if he's carrying what he thinks is and he perceives as a cool tool around.
This is the problem. I've noticed more and more people kind of using them, and they seem to kind of use them as an alternative. So instead of having a cigarette, they're using these machines, these vapors or e-cigarettes. And you are right, I've seen younger people using them. And the sad thing is, and it's the influence of us adults, they see us using them and they think, oh, these are really cool. In fact, it's much more cool to be seen with one of these things than a cigarette, and which is exactly what happened, 50, 60 odd years ago, and now it's this new trend of being seen with them, and it's quite terrifying that the younger generation will think they're cool and unfortunately get addicted to these things next.
Yeah, Stephen's in Leeds. He's on the line. Hi, Stephen. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. What do you think?
Well, I smoke 50 cigarettes a day, right? And I will never stop smoking. I tried vaping. It doesn't do for me. This is all about money. Follow the money trail in life. Who makes money out of a smoking ban? The pharmaceutical companies with their Chantix, Champex drugs, etc., Nicorette patches. Now they're behind these electronic cigarettes, the pharmaceutical companies and the tobacco companies. I'll take my chance. I'm 66. I smoked all my life. I'm pretty healthy. And that's it, really.
Yeah. How can you be healthy if you smoke that many cigarettes a day?
Well, I have never had a heart attack, and it's based on lies. The smoking ban is based on absolute lies. Have you ever seen a death certificate stating this man died from smoking? No. Nobody's ever died from passive smoking, not even Roy Castle, who smoked cigars. I'm not in denial. Many things cause lung cancer in life. Give the smokers, give it a rest. You know, we're being hammered away. Working men's clubs, pubs, they've all shut down. Lonely people who smoke don't go out anymore. It's divisive. The smoking ban is divisive. Sorry about my rant.
No, that's fine. Absolutely. That's what a radio show like this is all about. Grant, what would you say to Stephen?
I agree, Stephen. He's absolutely right about that. It's all about money. He couldn't be more right, because we know that unfortunately cigarettes make money, and then stopping them, the pharmaceutical companies and all the rest of it, they make their money from encouraging everyone to do the nicotine patches and everything. And I only know this because my own father and other members of the family, they smoked. Thankfully my dad doesn't anymore, but they all smoked as well. And like Stephen said, it's not something that's easy just to stop, and they know that. And I think giving people this alternative, it doesn't mean to say they're going to stop, but it is giving them another method. And again, I understand what he's saying, because I also know some people that have got into the hundreds that smoked every day and drank every day and lived a very healthy life. So, I mean, it's difficult to pinpoint one thing down to why people die with cancer and things. But all I'm saying is that when it comes to these e-cigarettes and these kind of things, about treating them the same way you would with I think Steve would agree with cigarettes, that around youngsters and young families and things, it's just bearing in mind. Like, my parents obviously smoked, but they made sure that we went around when they were smoking, or if their friends came round, they would all go outside and that kind of thing.
Stephen, can I just put this to you?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, of course.
It's lovely to talk to a person on the smoking debate who talks a lot of sense. It's lovely. Thank you.
Well, possibly only because you agree with him.
There you go.
Maybe that comes into it. Stephen, let me put this to you. This is just dropped in on the text. This is from Peter, who says, "Good morning, Jason, and good morning, Stephen and Grant. Vape smokers puff on them light, like my dad did with his pipe. It looks weird. It stinks just like fags. P.S. I'm an ex-smoker." Do you agree with that, Stephen?
Well, it's not... Let's talk about... It's not smoking, is it?
No, it's not.
You are vaping.
You are vaping, yeah.
You're vaping. Right. You can have these electronic cigarettes with degrees of nicotine in them. No nicotine, some nicotine. I just think it's a toy, and they don't really know what dangers there lie in. The main ingredient of an electronic cigarette is propylene glycol, I believe, which is for asthma sufferers. So there are benefits there, but it's just a gimmick. To me, it's a gimmick. Nothing more, nothing less.
These shops are popping up everywhere, aren't they, Stephen? There's a big one here in Cardiff. Do you have them in Leeds?
They're all over the place. They're all over the place, loads of them. It's fortunate there is an expanding industry because, as you well know, I do business rate appeals on commercial properties, and the amount of shops that are now empty, it's horrific. Town centres are dying on its knees. So be grateful you've got, these vaping shops popping up. We've got about, I would say in Leeds, about 12, 15.
Wow. And it's not a massive city centre. It's a gorgeous city centre. It's not a massive city centre, is it? But Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Nice to talk to you, Stephen, and to you, Grant. Let's go to...